This 25 bips hike is watershed moment for Melbourne property, but while everyone is complaining about rates, the smart players are looking at the new engine driving the market. If you're only looking at the old school prestige suburbs, you're missing the biggest growth story of the decade. Today, I'm talking about community gravity. It's not about being brave or loyal to a narrow, it's about where the buying power is concentrated. The Indian community has been incredibly pragmatic about this. They've chosen to anchor themselves in specific growth corridors long before the full infrastructure arrives. But here's why you need to be careful. When a community this large and motivated moves into an area, they don't just buy homes. They create permanent demand. They forced governments to build schools and developers to build shopping centers. By following the Indian wealth map, you're essentially seeing a preview of where the next infrastructure boom might happen. If you want to find suburbs that will actually outperform the market in this high-interest era, you need to understand the logic behind these new hubs. So today we are going behind the scenes of these growth corridors. Whether you are a first home buyer or a seasoned investor, this is how you spot the next big thing before the rest of the market catches on. Let's start with Carnegie. It's a long-established multicultural suburb in Melbourne's southeast, and over time many Indian families have chosen to settle here because it's convenient and there's a strong sense of community. But look at it now, Carnegie has grown up. With prices hitting 1.6 million or even 1.9 million, it's no longer a starting point. You've got the early believers who bought 15 years ago. Their equity has grown dramatically. And right next door, you have high-income professionals paying a significant premium just to be here. Walking down Conant Road, you can see proper Indian and Chinese grocers, that famous Russian deli, and even two chemist warehouse, all on one strip. Carnegie is dense, convenient, and packed with life. But here's the thing. Carnegie has hit the ceiling for young families. If they need that big 5-bedroom home, they're priced out. And in this community, that space isn't a luxury. It's a necessity. It's for the parents living on the same roof, the visiting relatives, the siblings, the aunties and uncles. It's a multi-generational lifestyle that simply needs more square meters. So the next generation is looking for the next spot where they can actually afford to build big. That's why this growth isn't just about isolated suburbs, it's a connected corridor. We can't talk about this growth story without mentioning Dandenong. It's where the hustle really started. In fact, Dandenong is Melbourne's only officially recognized little Indian suburb. It's the soul of the community. If you walk down Foster Street, you can feel that raw, buzzing energy. You've got traditional sari shops with their vibrant colors and authentic Indian restaurants that have been here for decades. But here is not just an Indian center, it's a global bazaar. Right next door, you've got Persian grocers selling high-quality spices and nuts, often at prices far more competitive than what you can find in many Inner East stores. Even the next generation is moving further out, to places like Clyde North, Cranbourne, and Officer. They still drive back to Dandenong every weekend for their spices and their family crowd. But for their daily life, they want their brand new master plan street. They're trading the old crowded blocks for lifestyle upgrade. It's the best for both worlds. You get a giant new house, but the Dandenong heartbeat is still just a short drive away. If you doubt this shift, just look at Point Cook. 15 years ago, it was nothing but farmland. Today, it's the ultimate blueprint for professional hub in the West. That's the power of moving with the people. Point Cook worked because it attracted a specific demographic. White-collar families, including many Chinese, Indian, Southeast Asian, and local professional couples, who refused to settle for industrial standards. They collectively forced the area to level up, demanding better schools, safer streets, and more grocers. And look at the commercial vibrance now. It's no longer just about basic groceries. You see brand new ice cream shops tucked right into local estates and warehouse-scale Asian supermarket that is honestly the biggest in all of Melbourne. And with the Westgate Tunnel now officially open in 2026, the West's biggest headache, the commute, is finally having some relief. We've already seen houses here easily clearing the $1 million mark a few years ago, and now, with this new connectivity, the West finally decoupled from its industrial past. This is no longer a stopgap. This is where the smart money is putting down roots. But Point Cook is just at the beginning. If you look at the map, you will see it isn't an isolated success story. It's the important heart of a high-growth belt. Follow that path north to Tarneit, and you will see the same energy, the same demand for space, but at a different entry point. The wealth isn't just sitting in one suburb, it's moving along its western growth corridor. If Dandenong is the traditional Little India, Tarneit has rapidly become the modern Little India of the West. Although people often group Tarneit with its neighbor Truganina, but they're actually very different. While Truganina is still balancing a massive industrial footprint with the new residential pockets, Tarneit is the undisputed big brother for lifestyle. It has become a regional magnet. I've seen people drive 40 or 50 kilometers across town just to a shop or eat there. Because for Daisy people, the community is so authentic that the suburb has developed this intense cultural gravity. In Tarneit, you're getting the convenience of Carnegie but on a huge scale. Giant spice supermarkets like Petrol Brothers and the dining scene more vibrant than many inner suburbs. As an investor, you have to see the difference here. Point Cook is a multicultural town, but Tarneit has a much sharper focus. It has such a strong community brand that while it creates immense loyalty, it naturally feels less accessible to those outside of it. In Point Cook, you're buying into diversity. In Tarneit, you're buying into density. It creates a price floor that the Eurobank reports just can't explain. But let's check the reality, the prices. Do you stretch to pay $1.6 million for a 90s-style old house in Carnegie that still needs work? Or do you choose a different trade-off? For half that price, around $600 to $800K, you can build brand new perfect dream house in Tarneit. Head southeast to Clyde North, Cranbourne or Officer, and homes go for around $660 to $765K. Now you might wonder, is this just about finding the cheapest entry point? Not at all. It's about recognizing a proven pattern. Point Cook isn't just a one-off. When you see Tarneit or Clyde North following that same path, you're not just buying a block of land. You're betting on community with the budget to level up and the culture to stay sticky. At the end of the day, the social environment is your silent asset. Buying into a neighborhood where families actually plan to stay for 20 years, that's your best insurance. So, where do you stand? Are you sticking with the old prestige or betting on the new energy? But before you decide, there's one more thing we need to talk about. This rate hike isn't just changing where people buy, it's changing how they afford it. Coming up next, I'm decoding the new logic of the bank of mom and dad. In a market where borrowing power is shrinking every day, family capital is no longer a luxury. It's a survival strategy. I'm going to show you how the silent lender is keeping the market afloat and what it means for the future of housing in Australia. I'm April. This is April Talks Aussie. Subscribe to see the market through a different lens, focusing on the people, the culture, and the hidden drivers that data alone can't tell you.